All right, everybody. I'm going to do a quick little video as a reminder on how to add and subtract decimals. There we go. That looks pretty good. So first rule is this. Number one, you need to, here we go. Sometimes this happens with my camera. There we go. First thing you need to do is line up place values. Okay, this first little tip. This is like the number one. If you do it, everything works out well and you will shine. Right? Now, I can't emphasize this enough. So when you're doing your work at home on the couple of worksheets I'm posting, make sure everything is lined up. Right? And here's the other big rule. Number two, if there's gaps, so if we have different numbers, you can add zeros. Let's say this is what I have, 4.4. If I add zeros to the right of a decimal, so there's my decimal. If I add, does that change the value? No, I can add as many zeros that way as I want. Similarly, if I go to the left of a number on a zero, that doesn't change the number. This number is still 4.4. A lot of students hesitate to do this because they're worried they're going to change the number. Remember, numbers are very flexible. We can play with them this way. So you want to fill in the place values here. Fill in place values. Right? You may even want to write something like this down as a reminder when you're doing your work. Right? So we're going to start with addition. I'm going to turn my page here. There we go. So when we add, we're going to take the number 4.23 plus 1.214. Right? Now, it's hard to see how these are lined up right now. So I would really recommend you stack. Now, see where my decimal is? That has to be in line. I put the 1 underneath the 1. They're both in the ones position. And now I have 2 is in the tenths. 1 is in the hundredths. 4 is in the thousandths. Okay, equals. Now, do you see how I have this big gap here? How do I fix it? Add a zero. There we go. Now, Bob's your uncle. Maybe. I don't have an Uncle Bob, but maybe you do. So now remember, when I'm adding, all I'm doing is I'm adding in the columns. So in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths spot, I have 4. 3 plus 1 gives me 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Decimal, same spot. Just put it down. 4 plus 1 is 5. In 75%, so if we have add, subtract, multiply, and divide, the only one that we don't just transfer the decimal down is in multiply. Everything else, the decimal just literally goes exactly in the same spot. That one was pretty easy. Let's do one that's a little harder. Okay, so black is a good color. 124.1 plus 3.426. Notice where our decimal is. I do a quick check. I've got hundreds and I've got ones. Okay, I can handle that. So we stack it. 124.1 plus. Now, where do I put the 3? In the ones column. 3.426. Now there's lots of gaps on there. If it's easier, I recommend you do this for addition because when you go to subtraction, it's an imperative. You have to do it. I need to make this a little bigger here. Make this 9 and make this 8. Otherwise, it's not much harder at all. So same thing. I'm looking in my columns. I can just put my decimal down because I'm not going to have to worry about it. 0 plus 6, 6. 0 plus 2, 2. Now, if I have a number that's bigger than 9, remember, in any place value, I can't have more than 9. That's what a place value is. This is saying that I have 9 tenths and 1 tenth. Well, 9 tenths, okay, if I have 9 tenths and I add 1 tenth, I now have a whole. So that whole, we're going to transfer that up, carry it up. I put the 0 down here because 10, or this is not 10, this is 1 from the tenths column. Now I get 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Well, 13, is that not 10 plus 3? So I have 3 in the ones column here. The 10 has to go up into the tens column. I have, this is really 10 plus 20. That's going to give me 30. See how it's in the tens column? And I get 1. So my answer is 133.026. If you know that these are lined up and your place values line up, that's pretty much all there is to it. When you're doing your work, grid paper is awesome. I would use it. I'm going to shoot a different video on subtraction. Okay, hope that helps.